Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my to yet another daily news analysis. Today, in this video, we are again going to discuss the the articles from the Hindu newspaper, which are very important from UPSC and other state PCS, and for the general awareness also. Here, we do not see news as just news, but we also understand the context behind the news. We also link the news from different areas like society, from ecology to economy to polity to international relations. We link all these subjects together because then only we can get a true picture of the issue. Starting with today's news headlines. So United Nations has predicted that India's GDP will cross $4.18 trillion in 2026. Yesterday, Union government has said that India in coming year, in fiscal year 2026, GDP growth rate will be at 7.4%. But now United Nation is saying that it will persist at 7.2 to 7.4%, and it will cross 4.8 trillion dollar economy, and it will soon be the fourth largest economy of the world by um, overpowering by crossing Japan's GDP. So it will be the fourth largest economy. Right now we have fifth, but we are going to be fourth largest economy. United Nations has also stated that the growth key drivers of this growth is that strong private consumption. Because when when our consumption is there, the demand of the product will increase, and the demand will get increased. It will lead to production, more production, and will lead to GDP rises. So this is it with the so the strong private consumption is showing. But who is consuming? But who is spending all these money? Middle class people, lower middle class people? No, upper middle class and rich class people, they are spending, not the middle class people. This is the major key area. Also, United Nations has also said that there is urban demand revival, robust credit flow, and stable financial conditions are we are seeing in country. Also, inflation is below tolerance band. We have a tolerance band which is known as fiscal inflation retail target, which is between with that, which says that the inflation of the country of India must be 2 to 6% band. But it is last month it is seen that it has decreases. Now the inflation is below 2% also, right? So we are at low inflation rate. Export performance has improved because we have diversified our export basket also. Not only United Nation, but also other global institutions like IMF, World Bank, OECD, Asian Development Bank, they are saying that India's GDP will grow by 6.5 to 7%. Also, India has the target by 2030, India's GDP will be at $7.3 trillion. Right? Moving towards our second article. So, second article is about road accident. We know that according to last NCRB data, that is National Crime Report Bureau of 2023, the road accident cases in India has risen up very fastly, right? And in order to stop that, and road accident have taken, and also the death to the road accident has also increased. Right now I'm forgetting the data, but I will tell you soon about this. But due to stop this road accident, a central government is now launching a new scheme called as nationwide cashless treatment scheme for road accident. It will give us a comprehensive coverage amount for the medical treatment of the victim up to 1.5 lakh rupees. It is applicable to the nationwide road, not only national highways but also state highways, also district roads. And whatever in which, if a person gets injured in road accident, then government will pay. Cashless medical treatment would be there, by the government. So, and here the most important concept that I would like to tell you is that it is about the golden hour concept. NCRB has also said that many people died in road accident because they could not, because they are not able to reach to hospital at proper time. So what is this golden time? Golden hour basically refers to first 60 minutes after a road accident, and if immediate medical treatment is provided to citizen, then chances of survival of that victim increases. According to AIMS, road fatality can be reduced by 30% with timely medical intervention. So, to boost this, in order to boost this philosophy, and uh, there will be no bystanders in the road accident. Government of India has bring up a good Smartian behavior award, where the person who basically take the victim to the hospital, he will get a Rahi Veer award, and 25,000 cash award from government, right? And it will also a policy of bystander policy, right? Anti bystander means whenever let's say, I want you to imagine a scenario in which a person got meet with a brutal accident, and all of the person around him are just seeing him. They are making videos, but no one is helping them. So this is a bystander policy, and government wants to change it, because the due to the immediate medical, because non availability of immediate medical treatment, many victims got died due to road accident. And that is why government has brought up this new Smartian behavior and no bystander policy. So now, earlier what used to happen, if a person wants to genuinely help that person, then also, you know uh, middle class people, they may got frightened that, no, oh god, we have to go to police station, we have to give witness, and this and that, and this may introduce a an unusual problem for for the concerned person and the family. That's why they don't want it. But now government of India is now giving cash prizes. Now they are supporting this idea. So in a way, this is also the way of, you know decreasing the mortality rate in the country. Talking about a third news headline, so we know that what is happening in the world: 500% tariff on buying Russian oil. So, a bill has been cleared by US President Donald Trump, which empowers president to impose tariffs up to, mark my word, up to 500% on countries buying Russian oil for Ukraine. So now, as we know that we export a lot of products to USA, now if this bill passes, then our international competitiveness of our product will get decreased. Our international product will get more costlier. Okay, so it has a very huge negative impact. Talking about why Donald Trump is bringing this tariff, because he has a to he has an objective to pressurize countries like India, China, Brazil to stop imported Russian oil. They aim that if these countries do not buy Russian oil, then they will not get finances for to do a war with Ukraine. And in a way, finding if we are if we're taking Russian oil, we are contributing in war. So they main quoted main aim of Russia of this this bill is to cut the finances to Russia amidst Ukraine conflict. So what is the scheme, right? What we have to do in this case? Is it true or not? Well, official government statement is not out yet, that what government of India is saying on this matter. We will see that. But the permanent solution is that India must be energy sovereign. We need to we need fast we need to fastly switch towards energy security, right? So that these global shocks will not impact India, or they will not pressurize India to do India something which we do not want. So we need to uh, reduce our dependency on crude oil, on petroleum gas, and increase our uh, increase our capability in renewable energy, in nuclear energy, in biochemical biodiesel energy, so that we will become energy sovereign. Become We need to achieve energy sovereignty. This is most important thing that we have to achieve. Talking about our fifth article is about, you know recently, few days back, in a Jalore district of Rajasthan, a community passed a law that in their community, smartphones are not allowed for women. Women cannot use smartphones. This is a this is a order which passed by the elderly men or the community for their women. So, women's access to smartphone is curtailed by caste panchayat in Rajasthan's Jalore district. Informal community committee, they order banning women from using smartphone. Now, why it is said that? When I read the whole article, I got to know that there are two important views which are saying that. First of all, let us understand which community sarpanch they are saying. Later, then we will see what women who are supporting this move they are saying, and girls who are and women who are against of this, we will understand. And we will also understand its impact and what this decision reflects here. Okay. So talk when media person asks them why they are doing that, they're saying their main argument is that women, they are community women. I do not know the the what was that community name, because it was not mentioned. It is for the privacy, it was changed. It was not mentioned here. So the women, the community sarpanch, they were saying that uh, women do not need smartphones, because whole day they are busy doing their household chores, and they're busy in taking care of the children. Why would they need smartphones? They do not require smartphone with. They don't have to go outside for work. They don't need to connect with the world, because they're not out. They're going not going outside, and they are not doing any kind of a job, and they're sitting at home, so there is no requirement of smartphones. But that was their. Men are going outside. They need to connect with the world very easily. That's what's their argument. And women who are supporting this, they are saying, yeah, and also the sarpanch community, they also said that women of the community have demanded that please take away our smartphones. Our kids are using our smartphones and scrolling reels for hours. And many women are supporting this ideas that they are, it will, please stay. It is a very good decision by the community sarpanch, that our that they are banning our smartphone, because because it will it will because children are using them. That was their main reason. Also, sarpanch community people, they are saying that smartphone is given to girls for for the education, but now they are creating reels, they are dancing on in front of social media, which is against they're not using it for educational purposes, they're using beyond it. However, some girls are saying that it will create a digital divide. If we are unable to use the smartphones, then we are not able to connect with the world, which is a very valid point. Which is a very valid point. How will you connect with the world? And also, what I think is that if women if women have problem that their children are using so much phone, so it's not the solution that you will curtail the access to smartphone for the whole community. Girls, it's not a good thing. Your children, it's their children, you should know how to control them. Smartphones are not the medium of calling connectivity, but they are also the medium to connect with the world. With the with the access of smartphones technology after COVID-19, education has become so easier. A person who cannot who does not have the money to go to schools, coaching to afford coaching, they can learn free on this YouTube, through this YouTube and through other channels. Also, it will keep you updated with the world as well. It will broaden your horizon as also. So, having such kind of a order, it will impact digital divide, which highlights gendered digital exclusion in rural India's. It also shows how social institutions can override individual rights, and it also sparked a debate between traditionality and modernity, and how patriarchy control over women's empowerment. So this is the major issue. Let me know, what do you understand, what do you think about this issue, because this is a very sensitive issue for women empowerment, for for which highlights digital divide, which basically reflects there is a digital divide based on gender and patriarchy. It reflects a lot of patriarchy in our society, that some men are deciding whether women should use smartphones or not. It reflects patriarchy also. Let me know. Our fifth news headline is Madhav Gadkal, a veteran ecologist, is no more. He was a very good ecologist. He was known for his seminal work on the Western Ghats and bottom up approach in the environmental conservation. His insights are very useful to preserve Western Ghats. And now, right now, we have lost India has lost a gem right now. At the age of 83, he took his last breath. We pray to Almighty for his for the peace of his soul. Talking about his contribution in economics, whenever we in environment, whenever we read environment, and whenever we read about biodiversity conservation, we always heard one committee name, that is Madhav Gadgil committee, right? So let us understand this Madhav Gadgil committee, what he had given, what recommendations he had given, and also on what context. So in 2010, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change invites Madhav Gadgil to lead a committee to study the Western Ghats, right? And basically to tell them that what is the how we can preserve our Western Ghats. Western Ghats are basically located in the western side of the Deccan Plateau. It right, the coastal area on the western side of the Mumbai, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala. These are the coastal areas. Right, it is a very ecological sensitive zone. What are ecological sensitive zone? Ecological sensitive zones are those in notified area around national park and wildlife sanctuaries, which are notified by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Why? Whenever there is a national park is made, it cannot happen that any human activity can take place in front of inside of it, in adjacent to the national park. Let's say at point A, national park is there, within the 5 or 2 kilometer periphery you can construct a building there. No, there has to be a buffer zone, right? 5 to 10 or 20 kilometer, more than that, based on the severity or the sensitiveness of the national park of wildlife sanctuary, that buffer zone is known as ecological sensitive zone. Now it acts as a shock absorber. It minimizes forest depletion, and it also reduce human animal conflict as well. They are notified under Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So Western Ghat is a very, very, very important, community, Western um, area. And in order to conserve them, in 2010 government has, you know has established a committee which is known as Western Ghat Ecology Expert Panel, which was led by Madhav Gadgil. Madhav Gadgil has said that Western Ghat is a biodiversity hotspot. It balances it requires balance environmental sustainability and economic growth and level and livelihood. So, in order to balance the environmental sustainability, economic growth, and livelihood, he has identified some ecological sensitive area and recommended protection measures. Like, he has said that 64% area demarcated as highly sensitive, right? He has said 64% of the Western Ghat is highly sensitive area, and there should be no mining, deforestation activity should take place here. Any kind of a human activity should not be here. Rather, whether it should be left it as it is. We should animal should human should not touch it, right? And all the existing pollutant countries to be phased out. Now what happens is that a lot of, conflict, violence happened due to this. So in all, for the second opinion, government of India uh, established a Kasturi Rangan committee. Now, his approach was that he divided Western Ghats into two parts, that is, natural landscape and cultural landscape. He has said that only 37% of the natural landscape, uh, um, Gadgil committee was saying 64% of the Western Ghat is under the ecological sensitive area, but Kasturi Rangan is saying that we are going to divide Western Ghat in two parts. Out of this landscape part, 37% is under the ecological sensitive zone area. Only red category industries to be fully restricted, and you can have a more development friendly, less restrictive approach government can use here. Development models can be made here. Right now, there is no final consensus between Gadgil and Kasturi Rangan committee, but they highlight a major important issue, that whether, you know uh, debate of economic development, environmental protection, or the policies should be made on environmental conservation, or keep scientific, rather the right word is scientific environmental conservation, or or socio-economic, socio-political thing we need to keep in mind. This is the most important debate which has arisen out. Now I'm ending here the video. We will meet you tomorrow with a new word, with a new news headline. Till then, stay happy, stay safe. Bye.